FD nominated member of staff.
So it's not that anything different's taking place on these sites, it's just that it's allowing the things that happen in everyday real world to be amplified online.
In East London, Michael and his friend Ayo are concerned about another issue that has been amplified with the rise of social networking sites. They have seen how uploading confrontational MCing tracks onto websites like MySpace can be used to fuel tension between rival groups.
Up to your place, yeah, still repping the place. N1MG, place where the goons be. North bit of Hackney, I've already started rapping, see. Yeah, I'm keeping.
Using, MCing and that. Maybe I live in Shoreditch and he lives in Camden. If I know him and we don't mellow together, I can rap on whatever I don't like about him, and he obviously will get it somehow. You want to see my one? Look at that, bro. Look at that.
Oh yeah.
You can use MySpace to publicize that. It's not all the fight on the used to fight. They still fight.
It's increasing that because more people see it, more people talk about it.
Hype you up.
There's also a notion that the anonymity, or at least the lack of face-to-face contact which the internet affords, does make people act in a slightly more reckless or brave way. So people are much more flirty online, for example. They can also be much more argumentative in ways that they wouldn't be if the person was face-to-face with them.
Each borough has different rival in it, cussing other people, and then it's like if he doesn't respond back to me, then it looks like he's weak or something.
People just have to learn to control that, get used to that, because MySpace is open to everyone, so anything can happen.
All of these things existed before the medium, and they all need to be negotiated. So either we run in some kind of panic away from these areas and we cede control of them to people who would use them for all kinds of nefarious purposes or dangerous purposes or ill-advised purposes, or we say no, because the things that we could do with them are so valuable that we need to work out a way to be safe in those places and to tell when somebody's trying to manipulate you or inform you falsely about something.
So where does this technology sit in the classroom?
All over Britain, some children are being banned from using social networking sites as though somehow, well, what was it going to ruin? Their socialisation skills, their ability to work and collaborate, their collegiality. Surely these are all things that are hugely desirable. What's happening, of course, in the smart schools is that they're seeing how powerful these tools are and they're reaching out and embracing them.
Young people of all ages, from Key Stage 1, 2 upwards into secondary school, are using these tools of social software, that it's important that teachers are able to engage with that kind of lived culture of young people and to have some idea about the potential of the medium.
The children really need clear boundaries as to what is and is not acceptable, and quite often they're the ones that are pushing the boundaries, and unfortunately staff and parents are sort of one step behind.
It is about giving the children and learners the skills to know when that's happening and to deal with it and to know how to deal with it and to know who to turn to for advice.
Ophelia Vanderpoel and Ennius McNulty started a collaboration between Oakington Manor and St Mary Magdalene Primary Schools in Brent, London, 10 years ago. Over the last few years, with technology becoming more advanced and more readily available, they have adapted their work to incorporate this.
When we started our work initially, we were doing things like video conferencing, where we were talking to each other so that the children could see each other in real time, even though we weren't in the same school. And we saw that as a way of initially introducing the children to the way the new technologies work. We have subsequently moved on to things like blogging, which we think is absolutely fantastic. We're also using the new technologies to actually engage them, to actually give them a new voice.
Do you think animals should have rights?
I think animals should have rights because killing animals is wrong. How would you feel if you were an animal and your friends and family would have been killed?
We also feel it's a good time in primary school to teach children the appropriate use of the new technologies from Web 2, such as blogging, podcasting, social networking sites.
Animals are packed as closely together as possible. Most never see sunlight, touch ground, or get fresh air. Many can't even turn around.
It's another tool for educating children, and it's another tool which children again will have the voice. They'll have the forum through which to express their opinions and ideas and so on, so that they're no longer just sitting back and being consumers, but also being creators of their own content.
They don't just want to watch a video, they've got an opinion on it they want to share. They don't just look at the friends that you've got in your social space, they want to have a view on that, and they want that view to be impish and to be cheeky sometimes. They want to participate, they want to make and create.
I think one of the great things about Web 2 applications like blogs and wikis are they do allow people to collaborate, and they do lead to very interesting forms of informal learning. So people learning just by doing things, learning that's caught, not taught.
So once you've posted your comments, we will then have a look and we will read it and just...
Pupils and staff at these two schools are certainly motivated by this kind of learning.
If we're writing in our text, it doesn't really go all around the World Wide Web. Yeah, because you'd be writing for 2 hours thinking about animal rights and be passing it to your friend saying, here, read that, tell your friend, tell your friend, tell your friend. Instead, you can just go on the internet and just type it down and then everyone will see it. You can't really pass your textbook to strangers.
Well, I've learned a lot more than what I would have learned just having a normal school day. So it's really good. Not just copying down from a book, or it's just we're actually doing the lesson.
I do think education is changing in the way we actually teaching children, but I also think that the underlying skills are the same. We're teaching about writing in the same way, whether we're using a computer keyboard as we would if we were using a blackboard.
You're seeing a fabulous excitement. Not little tiny improvements, but socking great, dirty, big improvements in children's learning. Technology's been the great enabler in all this. You know, without technology, we were trapped in a place. We were trapped in a stale model of productivity where the best we could do was 10% better, and then 5% better, and then 2.5% better, and then barely better at all. You know, we just crept forward.
The internet is a huge, brilliant resource, but it has to be filtered. They also have to be very well trained to make sure that they use this stuff safely. And that's one of the real issues that we have to deal with in schools, especially when they're getting so computer literate around about the ages of 8, 9, 10, 11. And they're all starting to use these sites.
But I think it's a matter of getting to grips with the technology, training the teachers how to use the new technology properly.
You'll see it on your web page, it's on your page. It says go to the bottom of the page.
One member of staff at St Thomas More School in London, who has recently been trained in social software, is RE teacher Susan Kambalu.
Yeah, so you could see the priest was in the picture. Yeah? Good. They wanted to have teachers that aren't ICT teachers and to train us up in the use of new technologies, and then for us to try them out in the classroom and to share them with other teachers. So www. Oh, it's my turn. Okay. Yeah, it's your turn. .edublogs.edu.
In the course that we ran, for example, people were up and running with it by the end of the first morning.
And I think they're exciting opportunities for teachers and pupils to have a relationship that's based more around dialogue than around the teacher being didactic and giving all of the knowledge to the pupils.
What sort of information would you write about yourself?
Like my name and the school I go to.
But it is perhaps a slight shift in the power balance between the teachers and the pupils that can involve longer learning conversations as opposed to simply a one-way flow of information.
Like, say I went to school one day and I've written all of the lessons I had, yeah, and what good and bad stuff I did, and my family from my other country could see it.
One of the main reasons I wanted to do the blogging was to help with peer and self-assessment. We could put a piece of work up on the blog and then students could comment, 2 things good, one way you could improve. And I've started that with my Year 8s last year, and that was quite effective with getting them to think about their own work as well, how they could improve it.
It does presuppose a different relationship between teachers and learners, and that's difficult for teachers to move into at the moment because of the sorts of culture that we live in where it's very assessment and results driven. So the whole system really needs to be altered or relaxed slightly to allow for some of these innovative practices to occur. If you look at where it's really happening, it's countries that border us, especially Scotland, where there seems to be a great deal of excitement in Web 2.0, and they don't publish league tables. So there is a connection between the two things, where the situation is slightly more relaxed and teachers feel that they have space to be more innovative, then I think it's likely to succeed better.
The big agencies at the centre of all this, the government in Whitehall, QCA, I mean, they're all full of good people, but they've got to let go of the detail. Their task is to build a vision, and they're all building the same crucial vision. The vision is, this is how good our kids might be. That's their job, is to be ambitious for us. Everybody else will do the job of, how do we do that? What works? What's effective? Should we play sound? Can we use music? How might we organise the school day? All we want them to do is stand on the horizon and say, walk this way, it could be this good.
I think they've perhaps begun to realise that the curriculum does have to change, and not least in the sense that there are employers and other concerns outside of schooling who are probably looking at the sorts of things that students are expected to do now and wondering how relevant some of that is in terms of what they're going to be asked to do in the world of work. You know, absorb information quickly, create content themselves, make decisions very, very rapidly.
Employment has changed radically. It's no longer the job for life. We're looking at sort of 29 jobs in someone's working life. So young people's ability to adapt to change, to use new technology, to use new methods of networking is really going to help them in finding their next opportunity.
You know what tomorrow's school's going to look like. Your children are going to be running to school in the morning because they can't wait to finish the project they're engaged in, and you won't be able to get them to leave at night because they don't want to stop. Tomorrow's school is a place with quite a lot more joy in it.